This is Marla K. Hope you all are well. I have a story for you from MSN. It is from Newsweek, and it says China will attack U.S. soil if tensions boil over. Army Secretary, this came out Thursday, 2 days ago, and it basically confirms something that I've been saying for the last couple of years, that China will attack us if pushed. And we as citizens should expect it. We're all, the citizens are always the casualty. The rich people make the decisions, the politicians start the wars, and we're the casualties. So you have to prepare as best you can to not be a casualty. U.S. soil could be at risk of an attack from Beijing if tensions between the two countries boiled over, according to Army Secretary Christine Wormuth. Speaking on a panel at the American Enterprise Institute on Monday, Wormuth said that if the U.S. entered a major war with China, the United States homeland would be at risk as well, with both kinetic attacks and non-kinetic attacks, whether it's cyber attacks on the power grid or on pipelines. So that basically means our entire infrastructure is at risk. It means, the supply chain, computers, technology, if you have any type of foreign-made phones and tablets, computers, um, there are so many different things that, could impact us. We get our medication from them. A lot of the things that we need to survive are imported. So if there's an attack, we are going to be casualties. So you should be preparing your household for whatever. They're saying the quiet thing out loud, finally. Everybody else has been preparing their countries for years, and we're just telling our citizens maybe, a few months or weeks um, prior to this attack. So we really have to become realistic about what is happening. And I just wanted to share this story because it just, points to all this information is out everywhere, but like stuff like this, nobody is talking about. Amid escalating tensions between China and Taiwan, the Army's top official discussed the U.S. strategy to deter Beijing from attacking the self-governed island, which China claims as its own territory. Although the U.S. has promised to defend Taiwan if China were to attack and continues to be the main provider of military equipment to Taipei, the U.S. does not support Taiwan's independence as part of China's policy. Our goal is to avoid fighting a land war in Asia. This is all about deterrence. And the best way we avoid fighting a war with China is showing that we can win that war. Wormuth said. Don't make no sense to me, but whatever. See how America talks and acts. And I hate to say America, but the Saxons, the Gentiles are going to fall. The Gentile powers. This is not going to be pretty. So if you're Black, again, you need to be on the sidelines, praying, repenting, looking for your Father to come and pick you up out of this mess and deliver us from our captivity, because this is not going to end well. Timothy Heath, a senior international defense researcher at the RAND Corporation, told Newsweek that it's a reasonable expectation to believe a war with China and Taiwan could extend to the U.S. homeland, given Beijing's ability to strike. It is very likely that the war between the U.S. and China could escalate beyond just the area near Taiwan, he said. So if you live on the West Coast, you should be trying to get away from the West Coast. If you are just sitting around thinking that nothing is going to happen and all this stuff is a lie, they are basically telling you that it's coming. And trust me, if they're telling us now, it's imminent. It's like last minute because that's what we do. It is very likely, tensions between the US and China are the highest levels in years over Taiwan. In recent months, visits to the island from high ranking US government officials like former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and the appearance of a Chinese spy balloon over mainland US have added fuel to the fire. The other thing I want you to understand is like all the stuff that they've been doing over the last couple of years, the provocation, like they have been using propaganda to make us feel as though we are provoking, you know, or we're being provoked while actually visually showing you that we're the ones doing the poking of the bear. And also, there's just a lot of what we'll call not real incidents that are occurring. So there are just a lot of different things adding to this chaos, and all these different things are distractions. And so this is just my speculation. Um, I could be wrong, but I think that our country is trying to make this land desolate or almost inhabitable as much as possible because they know it's going to be overtaken. They know that we can't win. They know we don't have the military to fight these cyber wars or even a physical war. I mean, just look at the young generation, our, college age young people. They out here listening to trap music, trying to be gangs members on the street. You got feminists and men out here turning into women, arguing about feminism and a woman's right to choose and just all sorts of nonsense. So like we are just distracted with things that cannot help you fight an enemy. So again, black people, y'all better get your bags packed, have your go bag packed. If you're in the city, you're in danger, especially if you're in one of the cities that have been um, laid out for sacrifice. A lot of our people are going to perish. So, again, if you can get out of the city, get out of the cities. If you can, um, grow some food, prepare to make your way in the event that this whole thing is attacked and it collapses, you should be doing that. And that's why I'm encouraging you to try to become as self-sufficient as possible. Some officials, like four-star Air Force General Mike Minihan, have predicted that the U.S. could find itself at war with China by 2025, a timeline that the Department of Defense has rejected. I say they're rejecting it because it's probably going to come sooner, but that's just my 2 cents. Don't listen to me. Take it with a grain of salt, people. This week, Warmoth said that while she doesn't believe there to be an imminent threat that China would launch an amphibious invasion of Taiwan, the U.S. would obviously have to be prepared to fight and win that war. She said that should a conflict break out, China would undoubtedly go after the will of the United States public. They are going to try to erode support for conflict, the Army Secretary said. They already know we don't support a conflict. People in this country are tired of war. We just went through 20 years of Afghanistan, all these other little mini wars and, national destabilization things they've been engaged in. We got, Afghanistan, Iraq. Um, Gosh, it's just so many conflicts over the years. And we haven't won anything. We're broke. We don't have any money. They're taking our jobs away. We can't, there's no tax revenue to fight this if they're expecting to get it from us. And then the rich people are getting off scot-free. They're not being taxed. Every time a new Congress comes in, they get a tax break. So they like living la vida loca, and we are like begging for scraps. So, yes, people are tired of war. Although the U.S. is strategically working to deter an attack on Taiwan from the People's Liberation Army, recent moves from Beijing suggest that the country is preparing for a military conflict outside of its borders, according to the U.S. Pacific Commander General Charles Flynn, which is Mike Flynn's brother, if I'm not mistaken. But, again, they're telling you that we are going to be attacked. If you're on the West Coast, you're going to get it first. If you're living on a coastal area, you will be getting it first. For those of us who live, in rural areas, we're not necessarily exempt, but we do have to try to, have some buffers for just in case something happens in our area too. So they are rehearsing, they are practicing, they are experimenting, and they are preparing those forces for something. Flynn said during Monday's panel. But you don't build up that kind of arsenal just to defend and protect. You probably are building up for other purposes. So they are telling you that these people are getting prepared for something. And then they act like we're not getting prepared. We've been preparing too. But, what I want to share with you is that they're prepping us for war. We don't know where it's going to be, but we're being told that something is coming. So you should prepare. When they tell you, when they try to minimize it, it means it's going to be spectacular. When they tell you at the last minute and everybody else has been telling their people for, years. I know Russia and China have been telling their people for 2 years, prep. They are way ahead of us. So, if you haven't been prepping and watching the international news for the last couple of years, you're in trouble. You're behind the power curve. You got money tied up in 401ks and stuff like that. Y'all better get that money out of there and start doing some stuff so you can be self-sufficient. To go buy you some property. Try to get out of the city. If you got something in the city, especially where it's heavily populated, you better be trying to figure out how you're going to survive. Because it's coming. The war is coming, and they're telling you it will be fought on American soil. So they're trying to tell you in a nice way. But, those of us who've been watching this stuff for years, we already know. This place has been infiltrated, and your politicians have sold you out. So it's a wrap. This experiment called America will be over shortly, and it's been prophesied. Babylon is going to fall. So if you don't believe Babylon is going to fall, keep on holding your head high, and I wish you the best. May God take a liking to you. He emphasized that this year is an important time for the U.S. to get in position and create an advantage over Beijing so that forces can respond today if need be. How do you do that when last year or since the event you discharged, thousands of troops because they wouldn't take the lollipop? Then you can't recruit anybody because folks see what time it is. Nobody's sacrificing their kids to go into the military to fight for these folks who don't care about us. Lastly, this generation of young people are like almost, I hate to say it, they are idiots. Like they can't stand nothing. Everybody is fragile. You can't say nothing. Oh gosh, it's just, we're doomed. So if you are old school like me, you better be preparing to take care of yourself. Find you a group of like-minded people who you can coalesce around and work together for when the power grid goes down, when there is no gas. Get you some wagons so you can pull stuff if you got to walk. Get you bikes if you need to bike. Get you some hiking boots in case you got to get into the woods. Buy a tent. Get you some go bag. Keep your go bag packed. Have things in your house so that you can survive without power and food, non-perishables, um, stuff where you can cook on the grill. Um, get some stuff that you can cook in your house so that you don't have to notify anybody that you're outside cooking and they want to come steal your stuff or hold you up. We got to be really proactive about what's going on here. And I'm not saying this to scare anybody. It's just you have to protect yourself and prepare. We're not going to have anybody to come to our rescue. You are your savior until the Most High comes and gets us, those of us who are going with Him. So, with that said, y'all, please like this video, share it, subscribe to the channel. Please check out some of my other videos and share them on your social media. I've been trying to come out with some really good stuff that people need. Not wasting time. I don't like to do gimmick headlines. I don't like to, um, talk about subjects that don't matter and gossip, because those things are not going to help our people, Black African American people, at the end of the day. So, with that said, um, again, prepare. Put you some seeds in the ground. Start early, because this thing is, when it starts, it's just going to continue to roll. You don't know where it's going to start. You don't know where it's going to end. All you know is it's going to be bad. Babylon is going to fall. And you live in a failed state, a state that is not capable of saving, protecting, or even telling you the truth. So, with that said, I'm out.